Hi everyone, just look at this position. Black has all its 16 pieces on the board and white has only one pawn. And yet it is white that will deliver the checkmate. This is Gaurav Khare bringing you one of the most beautiful chess puzzles you will ever see. And we are going to solve this today. There are some important chess concepts coming up ahead, so stay focused. If this is your first time on our chess channel, please click on the red subscribe button below and also tap the bell icon to get all the notifications. Before we go into the solution, let us go into some theory. The problems like these are called grotesque in chess. In such problems, the initial position is highly unlikely, and the seemingly weak player is the one actually winning in a slightly humorous manner. So this particular puzzles that you see here is a grotesque, and an electrical engineer named Otto Blathy designed this position in 1922. Maybe he wanted to design an electric engine, but instead designed this electrifying position. Again, before we go into the concept and the solution to this grotesque, please pause the video and try to find the solution yourself. White to play first and win the game. I will pause for a moment here. If you were able to solve the puzzle, then congratulations. Let us look at it together now. If you look at the black pieces, all of its 15 pieces are blocked and restricted to this area, except the knight, which can go to these two squares. So the first move for white should be to capture this knight. Now black has only one move, and that is to move the queen to a1 square. Black will keep on moving this queen back and forth between a1 and a2 squares unless you capture some of the black pieces and free up space for black. Our aim is not to free up any of the black pieces and deliver checkmate. Our king is preventing the movement of the e2 pawn. So if we move our king, then this will free up black pieces, starting with the e2 pawn and then the rook, and we will lose. So we cannot move the king. We can only move the pawn. Should we move the pawn one square or two squares? Does it matter? Yes, it does matter. We can move our pawn by only one square to h3. Why? We will see it later in the video when we count the steps. For now, let's go ahead one step at a time and promote the pawn. So, we are on h7 square. Should we promote the pawn to a queen or something else? If we promote the pawn to a queen, look at the black pieces. The black king is sitting deep inside its fort, and queen will have to capture a lot of pieces in order to reach to the black king. So it is impossible to win with the queen. We need a piece that can jump over other pieces and deliver the checkmate, which is the hopping knight. So we under promote to a knight here. Now, we need to analyze the squares from where a knight can deliver checkmate. There are four such squares: a2, b3, d3, and e2 squares. Let us first look at the e2 square. It has triple protection. So in order to reach here, we will have to remove these three defenders. But in turn, these three defenders are defended by three other defenders, making our work impossible. So next look at the d3 square. d3 pawn has double protection by the c4 pawn as well as the rook. Capturing the c4 pawn is easy, but the rook on d2 is defended by the knight, which is impossible to reach. And it is also defended by another pawn, which in turn is defended by 3 other pieces. So d3 square is also out of question. Let us now look at the a2 square. In order to reach the a2 square, you will have to reach either b4 square or c3 square. And both of these squares have 3 defenders each. So this square is also out of question. Now we come to b3 square. This square is protected only by the c4 pawn, so it is easy to reach. But wait, if we take c4 pawn, then c5 pawn will move forward and protect the b3 square. So we need to capture both the c4 pawn as well as the c5 pawn. So here we have knight to f7, knight d6, knight b7, and knight c5. Then knight e4, knight d6, and knight c4. Now look at this position very carefully. Our knight is on a light colored square, and the piece it wants to capture is also on a light colored square. It is the property of a knight that after every even number of moves, it will be on the same colored square as it is in current position. So this knight, which is on a light colored square, will always be on a light colored square after 2, 4, 6, or 8 moves, and on a dark colored square after every 1, 3, 5, or 7 moves. So whichever way we move, we will reach the b3 square in an even number of moves. Now notice the position of this queen here. It is on a dark square, and after every even number of moves, the queen will be on a dark square, and after every odd number of moves, the queen will be on the light square. So when our knight reaches the b3 square, after an even number of moves, the queen will be on a dark square, not protecting the rook, and we can capture the rook. Now, do you remember our first pawn move, when we moved the pawn by 1 square and not 2 squares? Had we moved the pawn by 2 squares, every time knight will try to capture the rook on b3, queen will be on a2 to defend it, and we will never win. The same situation will occur if knight captures the c4 pawn first and then c5 pawn. So the only way to solve this puzzle is by moving the pawn by 1 square. So we have here knight a5 and knight b3. Checkmate. And now it is quiz time. We have a quiz question today, and the quiz question is, who was the first American chess player to become world number 1 in chess rankings? I'll repeat, who was the first American chess player to become world number 1 in chess rankings? If you know the answer, post your answer in the comments below. If you don't know the answer, you can find a link to our previous video in the description, which was a special tribute to all the world number 1 players in history. You can find the answer there. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. There are more chess videos coming soon, so please subscribe, comment, like, and have fun playing chess.